Going live. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Show Must Go On line. Today's guest is Jawan M. Jackson. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm so much better now that we're chatting.
Oh, come on. Don't do that to me.
Hey, this is one I've been really looking forward to. So I'm going to keep it cool. You know?
Come on, listen. I'm a fan and honored to be in your presence. It's okay.
Thank you. And, just right off the bat, I have to say, when I was photographing and filming all of the Ain't Too Proud journey to the Tonys, y'all were so nice. Like, everyone was like happy to be there and whatnot, but I especially found that you and the whole Ain't Too Proud cast and creative team were just especially nice. And I want to thank you for that.
Of course, it's my pleasure. It's one thing I was nobody before I was somebody. And, for me, my personal journey, I feel like, being nice, paying it forward is how I was treated when I was like coming up. And I just, you always remember how somebody treats you. And that's why I always want to treat people with kindness and respect, because that's the most lasting impression. And so that is my like personal journey when I meet other people, is always treat people nice.
And that is such a good life model. I try to do that as well, because it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to one another. Mm-hmm. And the lasting impression, like you said, it's something that whether you're like famous and you're a Broadway star, or you're just me, a reporter, people remember these things. So Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
So you were talking about growing up in this journey and whatnot, and I'd love to start with your origin story. What got you into theater and acting and singing?
I from far back as I can remember, singing has always been in my DNA. I grew up on just in church, singing. I was singing before I could talk, as everybody's like story. And then, but theater and like performing didn't come until later on. So I was about 12 years old. When I had like an inkling, of, seeing like friends and like my favorite actor of all time, who is Blair Underwood, like seeing him, you're like, oh, I want to be like Blair. And, so from there and then on, like I kind of got the bug, and I was doing things in high school. My very first musical production was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was in the 7th or 8th grade. And, I got to perform that, and that kind of like spearheaded my love for theater and everything. So.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good way to start this whole journey.
It was. And what's so funny is like when I did that show, I was like right in transition of me trying to figure out what my voice was, because my voice had shit. My voice dropped when I was 12 years old. And then, so 13, 14, I was still in that. What do you want to do? What is your voice? Can you sing high? Can you sing low? Are you in between? You sound like Steve Urkel right now. Like, I was in that like funny phase. So I was like discovering who I was and like what my voice could do.
So this is a great transition, because you have one of the most memorable and lovely voices on Broadway. I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Ish.
Yeah. So what's it like to, I feel like a lot of times people might notice the higher voices, but then when you have one that's so distinct and low and really like rounds out the whole music, it's so noticeable. And I've been lucky enough to see Ain't Too Proud twice. And both times you're like, okay, I'm ready for all these different elements. But it's beautiful the way that it really like it's crafted almost, that every different voice element shines.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what The Temptations was about. The Temptations, sound in itself was just it was set up to structure and highlight each of those unique voices. You had first tenors, baritones, basses, like and it just a way of color of that men's voices could, just the colors of a man's voice. I just loved how the Temptations like showcase their arrangements in like highlighting each individual sound in the Temptations. And it's so funny that you acknowledge the basses, because we don't get acknowledged that often. It's all about the tenor sax or the trumpet, and all the high, instruments get all the shine. But, I always say it's the bass that hold that foundation in order for those instruments to get the sound and to get the spotlight they need. So, I'm so grateful that, when people do like, they're like, oh my goodness, your voice, your voice, your voice. I'm grateful because I don't oftentimes get the acknowledgement because of the Jeremy Popes and Ephraim Sykes and, the James Harknesses and the Derek Bassons. I didn't get that, but I'm just, glad that, that we all work together in Temptations sound and just how they were set up allowed for us to just, be one on one accord.
Judy's commenting, it's all about that bass. All that.
Hey, that's a vlog viewer. Come on.
Yep. I was just watching.
Time to reboot that. I would love to do that again.
I think it would actually be really fun to get to hear from Broadway stars during quarantine and see, like, you're going from these ridiculous 8 times a week schedules in addition to all these other commitments that you're doing, whether it's the Tonys or Thanksgiving Day performances, to now, of course, we're here in quarantine and life is very different.
Yeah.
I mean, what has, in the simplest way, what has life been like for you the last X amount of months, I guess, since March?
It's been a great journey, honestly, if I'm being truthful, because like I was tired. I'm not gonna lie. My body was sore. My neck was hurting. I felt like I was getting all the ailments that my character experienced in the Temptations. And just to get a break for a little while to reset, refocus, and find my center again, I've actually enjoyed it. But aside from that, I've been consistently working. I've been figuring out a way how to be more creative, how to start things that I wanted to do and that I was passionate about, my passion projects, that we wouldn't be able to do because of our 8-show schedule. And so, for me, it's been a blessing in disguise that I have been able to sustain and really keep it forward. And I, up until this point, have been like safely like being away from stuff. So, I'm grateful for that.
Oh, good. Yeah. It is nice to think of the positives because it feels like there's so much negativity around, but also staying grateful for the opportunities that we have. And someone who I had on the series prior, who I know you're friends with, is Felicia Boswell, and just such a big fan, and her positivity and the way that she looks at life is really like, I've been trying to get my mind more on that journey because it's easy to get bogged down. But once you start appreciating more of the things, it really helps you like unclench your shoulders, and it just, you look around.
Absolutely. And Felicia Boswell, she's one of my kindred sisters. We are Taurus, Taurians, and her birthday is 5 days after mine. And like, she's also been my kind of like saving grace. Like, she's my quarantine buddy. And like, anytime I have a self-tape that I need to do, like, she would come over here and help me self-tape, and vice versa. We've been like each other's counterparts and like accountability partners, and it's been really, really she's a great asset to my life. And I am so grateful for her. I've seen some broads and some people, Linda Fairchild. Hey, Broadway broads. I love y'all so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love them too. They talk about like huge Ain't Too Proud fans. They are just the best.
Listen, they were Ain't Too Proud everything before I even joined. Like, they're longer members than I am at this point. Because they started when the show started in Berkeley. From if I'm saying it correctly. If I'm not, they'll tell me. But from then on, I remember coming in. They was like, we ain't know if you was gonna do it or not. But like, then it was like, but you got it. We love your voice. I'm like, oh yes, acceptance.
Really, they're the ones that you have to impress. It's like the audition and then that. But really, if the Broadway broads like you, you're set.
Yeah, because they done seen the show countless of time in various forms. And so, I always say like, it's, the thing is me trying to appeal to like the forever fans of like Temptations and things, because people are coming knowing this music frontwards and backwards, knowing these artists. And so I count it as a duty to make sure I get it correctly and done correctly and done rightly. So
yeah, and it really does show that y'all take so much pride in this performance, and talk about your journey to becoming a Temptation in Ain't Too Proud, the life and times of the Temptations.
Yeah, so it's so funny because I couldn't even get an audition for this show. Like, I could not get in the room. I could not be seen. I could not do anything. And ironically enough, Felicia Boswell, she was before the show even made it to the stage, when it was in like its development stages, she actually played Diana Ross. She read for Diana Ross in there, and that's an unknown fact. And I remember her after the initial reading, she called me and she was like, brother, she said, I just came out from a reading about the story about the Temptations. And, she was like, they got a role in here for you. I don't know how you're going to get in the room. I don't know what you're going to do. But she was like, I walked up to Dominique Morso at the time, who was also from Detroit. She was like, it's a Detroit girl. She was like, I walked up to her and said, you need Jawan Jackson in this room. You need him in this room. And, she was like, I'm going to give you his information. I'm going to, like, if it's okay for you. And so, because of things like that, when things get in development, you don't really kind of like pay too much attention. So I kind of like brushed it off. And then I heard about it once it started like saying it was going to Berkeley. And I was like, I need to get in the room. I need to get in the room. And I could not get an audition. I could not. I didn't have an agent at the time. So I was doing everything on my own. And after they casted Berkeley, it was too late by that. But then Derek Baskin at the time I was friends with, and then Ephraim, they were just like, why aren't you in there? I'm like, I couldn't get an audition. So they was like, don't worry about it. And they were just saying like, hey, go and, no worries. So then once the guy who was playing my role initially, we were actually like, we were friends in Berkeley. I know because the Broadway community is so small, he ended up reaching out to me and was like, hey, brother, I'm no longer going forward, go in there. I'm going to recommend you. So like they recommended me, and I finally got in the room, and I had one audition, one dance call, one callback, and then I booked it, in like 3 days. So it happened really, really, really fast. But then from there, because I'm not a dancer, I had 6 weeks. I had 6 weeks of rehearsals for dance and learning the music. And then I hadn't even read the script yet. I only worked on music and the dancing. So once I joined the actual room, that's when I actually got into the book. And I was like, I don't know, it's a lot of information because Melvin was in every number. He was the only member that was there from beginning to the end until his death. Everybody else kind of died along the way. And so I had to learn all of that stuff. And it was hard. It was some nights I went home and cried. I was aching. My body was sore, but we made it. And, one thing I do know is that I work hard and I'm going to get it together. So it didn't matter how long it took or how hard it was. I knew because I'm a Taurus, I'm stubborn. Going back to that, I made sure that I just did the work. And it was a leg up because I played it in Motown The Musical prior. So like I already knew going in a little bit about him, a little bit more history. So it didn't take that much to just fit right in with the guys who are already my friends. So the jail was easy.
There is so much to unpack there. First, the fact that you already played Melvin in Motown, I think
it's the second person on Broadway to ever play someone twice, actually. Yeah, I'm the second person.
That's so neat.
Yeah, it's just really great.
And also the fact that so many of your friends had your back is such a cool story because like you said, I mean, the Broadway community is small and close, but also it's very competitive. So it's hard sometimes. You want your friends to, you want everyone to book everything. And sometimes people can be focused on their own journey. But like we were saying before, when you're looking around at how blessed you are and how you can support other people, then you are also supported. And it's just so cool to hear how many people throughout the journey said, y'all need Jawan, let me help you get him.
Yeah, it was because what's so interesting, and I tell people all the time, is that, even though like we are, the industry is competitive because the people and the powers that be make it competitive, we actually love and adore one another. You know what I'm saying? And so it'll be things where, in other shows where I've seen like by chance producers like trying to pit people against each other, but because, we're already connected and friends, we talk. We all talk. That's what it is. We all talk. So know that like we got each other's back. And I think that is the environment that we want to continue to cultivate in this industry, because once we see that whatever is for you, it's going to be for you, and you're going to have it regardless. And so somebody else's blessing isn't going to stop your blessing, and that's the way I look at it. If there's a role that comes across my email or my agent send me, and I'm like, that's not for me, but I know who it's for, I'll reach out to my friends who are that type, and I'll call them and like, hey, this role just came across. I'm going in for it. I know I'm not right for it, but get your people to get you an appointment for this and see if they can get it. And we do that. So there's so many text message threads, email threads that we do that for, because we want to see each other win. And I think a win for me is a win for them, and vice versa. So definitely is a supportive community. Uh-oh, did I lose you? Maybe I lost her. Uh-oh. So I'm live by myself, looks like. And she's probably going to jump on again. But yeah, y'all, I'm seeing some comments in the section. Broadway Broads, listen, I was not a dancer. I was not. And so I learned all this from the show. I appreciate you guys' support throughout everything. And I hope y'all are being safe out there. It's been a really, really tough journey for everybody. And I want everybody to know that you are supported and loved, and that, we're going to get through this thing together, continue to be, social distance, because I understand about it. You also want to know about my dog, Harlem. Let me see what she said. Harlem! I'll call her. She's here. I'm at home. I got my little setup going on. She's 8 years old, and she is been my saving grace throughout this time. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have my dog. Come here, baby. Harlem. Here she comes. She was sleeping. You're the Broadway show. Hi, Tanya. Come here. Let me pull her up. Come here. People want to see you, baby. She big. She getting big. She got quarantine weight on her. So this is my puppy, Harlem. Say hi, Harlem. Say hey. Say hi. And so I've had her since she was 6 weeks old, and she has been the best doggy ever. She's so much of an emotional support animal now. And yeah, my niece is getting huge. She is 2 years old now. She just turned 2 the 31st of December, and she's talking, she's singing, which is exciting. She's singing, and she is absolutely the best ever. She'll call me and she says, Uncle, and she sings. She doesn't say I love you. She sings I love you, which I think is the cutest thing ever. And I'm excited about that, just to see what she gets into, because, her uncle wants her to be a singer. My sons didn't take up, anything creatively near what I have, but hopefully my niece has it, because I see it. She dances. I had her for the summertime. She was dancing and singing. So we'll see. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed. I'll let y'all know that journey. I try to keep her off of Instagram and social media, because her mother's like, I want my baby to have a life, but I'm like, I can't help it. I see something in her. So that's gonna be exciting. On what I'm doing on Clubhouse tonight. So Clubhouse, a lot of Broadway stars. If you are not on Clubhouse, if you know somebody that is on Clubhouse, reach out to them, have them send you an invite, because at 8:00 tonight, Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be on there with a few more other Broadway stars. We're going to have Rebecca and Donald Weber, the wife and husband duo who is expecting their first child, which I'm excited about. Antoine Smith, Chandra Prophet, who is in The Lion King, and countless other Broadway stars. And we're just having a conversation, just like, we do, because I told you guys that the Broadway community, we're just a big family, and we love and adore each other. And so we're having real conversations about our journey from working American, I guess, if you will, to stage actor and working actor. And it's just I'm excited about the conversation. This is, I'll be the second conversation that I've been a part of that I get to join. So yeah, I'm excited about it. We get to talk about just everything under the sun. So invite your friends or your actor and inspiring actor friends who maybe want to get into business, who want to know inside scoop about the ins and goings ons of Broadway and theater alike, or just television and film alike, because we have done it all. Everybody up there, they're Emmy, Grammy nominated, they're Tony nominated, they just got, there's so much, collective experience that's going to be on that stage tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time. Who knows when it's going to be over? Because, once we get to talking, last time the conversation went for like 3-4 hours. And then I was like, all right, y'all, I love y'all. So we'll see. Show Patron supporters play trivia at 8. Patron play trivia at 8 tonight. Okay. I don't know what that is, Judy, but I just said it. It's the Jawan show. Wow, it is. I don't know where my lady went. Maybe her connection was bad or off, but hopefully we'll get her soon, because it was starting to be a great interview. I just love talking to just like special people and Broadway fans, and just to stay connected with you guys. It's been so much fun so far. Just a little bit about what I've been doing, I guess. If y'all missed it or y'all seen it, I put out a Christmas single this Christmas. That was my very first Christmas song. And so get ready for some more music that'll be out. I'm trying to put together an EP that's going to be in line for when Broadway opens back up. So we'll see how that goes. I shot some things. Am I going to be at the virtual Broadway.com, BroadwayCon? I don't know. I haven't heard too much about it. All those things be coming late. So probably, I'll talk to my publicist and she'll send it there. What is that? Hey, Joanna, I heard so many wonderful things about you from Felicia. Keep up the wonderful work, brother. Kenneth Rankins. Kenneth, I've heard so much more about you. I cannot wait to meet you, man. I cannot wait to meet you. Felicia always talks about you so much. So likewise, I feel like I know you, and we're so much family already because of how much Felicia talks about you, who is, like I said, she is my sister and is doing so much. I'm so excited for what, is about to happen for her. She's just, I can't believe she's my friend sometimes. My friends are really, really dope. And I guess while I'm on here, I have another friend, Aaron Marcellus, who is coming out with some music, and he's actually got some a special holiday for Valentine's Day, something coming out. So stay tuned for that announcement that he's going to make. Follow his page. Also, if you have not, follow me on Instagram and all social media platforms. I'm at Jawan Jackson, and except for Twitter, because it got hacked. Ain't that something? Someone hacked my Twitter on my birthday by chance. And so now I had to start all over. I was verified on their account. So now I have to, if you know anybody who can get me re-verified on my new account, please help me out. But I'm Jawan Jackson, except for on Twitter, is Jawan M Jackson on Twitter, and do that. And what was it like doing all the Christmas specials? The Christmas specials for NBC. NBC treated us so great. I want to be a full-time employee at NBC because they rolled out the red carpet for us. We did the Thanksgiving Day parade. We did the Christmas one night only. And then we did the tree lighting, which was really, really great. And then we did I heard we did something else that they were doing B-roll for that they took and I didn't see, but NBC was so great. It was just working with them, just there in the midst of a pandemic, just to see their protocols. They were first very, very safe. They made sure we were tested 2, 3, 4 times over. And sometimes it got on your nerves, but I was like, I'm actually appreciative of the precautions because it keeps everybody else safe, and making sure that we're safe, ensures that the crew and cast and everyone were safe. And so, they were great. I'm excited to have that. It was streaming on Hulu for a while. I don't know if it's still on there, the one night only, but that was a very special day. And an interesting backstory to that. The one night only, we shot the same day as the Thanksgiving Day parade. And I did the Thanksgiving Day parade, and in between sets, my cousin, I lost a cousin to suicide that day. And then I lost another cousin just because of older age. He was older. So I lost 2 cousins in one day. And that right before that filming, it was really, really hard to do. Like that was one of the hardest things I had to do because I got that news, so suddenly. And, it was just like when we went to film it, it was raining. I was like, what are the chances that it's raining when we're singing Rain? And we were singing live as well. So it's raining, we're singing Rain, and it's live. So everything that could go, like, you feel like it was like the universes were aligning. And for me, because I needed that kind of rain, it was kind of like, I felt like it was my cousins, my family saying like, hey, we got you. We're here. I love you. So it's like that. It was like literally a light drizzle of rain coming down on us. And then immediately after we finished, it poured down right after, like thunder, lightning, everything. We was like, whoa, that wasn't nothing but like a blessing and a gift in itself, that the rain held out. And it was just so beautiful until after we finished the whole taping for that. And I was just like, that was great. So that's an interesting little thing for you guys to take on. What happened? I have to run, but please be the first to show your broads. We'll be seeing Broadway when the light returns. I love you so much, Broadway broads. The performance of Rain was tremendous. Thank you so much. It was really a great time. And John, thank you so much. I saw her internet is going out. When you're live and it be technical like this internet is unreliable. But guess what? Like she said, the show must go on. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to sit here and answer you guys' questions and talk to you. Any questions that you have for me, feel free. I am more than willing to take them. Any question under the sun. And so been doing that. I'm excited, and I kind of been getting cabin fever. I won't lie to you guys, because it's been, just being in the house and missing friends and family, particularly, mostly my godchildren and my sisters and people, because I'm from Detroit, born and raised, for those who don't know, and holding family is one of the things that are my core values that I hold on to. And I think that has actually have kept me so grounded in this industry, because I feel like not having that core value and family, that's when people tend to, get the big head, get ahead of themselves and lose who they are. But I'm grateful for a tribe of family and friends that I've cultivated here in New York, that I think it is important, because they tell me when I'm wrong, they tell me when I'm right. And guess who's back? What's going on? I held it down for you.
Oh my God. The internet just went out. Just life. That's a pandemic for you.
Okay, but I held it down. I got you. I was the co-host for today, ladies and gentlemen, and the show must go on, and it went on while she was gone. And so now you're back, and you can take over your show again.
I am so grateful. I was like, oh no, Jawan's just gonna leave and think I abandoned you like mid-show. Well, that's life. And yes, the show must go on.
It shall go on.
That was a fun journey. This is a great opportunity to ask, has there ever been a moment in a show where something...
Uh-oh, I think we lost her again. I think I lost her again, y'all. So I think she was going to say, has there been a moment when the show is happening that something happened and we left? Oh, there you are. There you are. It's okay. I think we got you.
Okay. Let's try it again.
Okay.
Take it away. Has anything crazy like this maybe has happened and you've, held it down?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I can remember the most vivid time it's happened was during Act 2. We were right before Papa Was a Rolling Stone scene. And we come out, and Dennis's line, Norman Whitfield wrote a song, as the famous story goes, called It Was the 3rd of September. Those are the beginning of the lyrics. And in this particular scene, Dennis Edwards, who's played by St. Alban, he runs out, he goes, man, what the fuck is this? And so usually, if in all seamless, because we're wearing mics, and principals wear 2 mics. And then we wear, ensemble, they wear 1, because just in case one of our main mics go out, we have a backup. Now, him in particular, for whatever reason, the sound in the middle of that scene, it just goes out. And so then he goes, man, what is this? Says the line over, nothing. Then I try to say my line, no sound, no underscoring. The whole sound system had crashed during the scene. So we had to break the show and start all over. And then once we finally got it back up, in true Saint fashion, he comes, y'all ready? Man, what the? And the crowd just loses it. And so we get right back on track. So moments like that happen. And then there was one more time we were doing Get Ready, the number. And I think the stage manager accidentally pressed something too soon. So the set started moving, and then we weren't able to get all the chairs that when the scene rotates into the next scene. So we had to kind of like stand up and like pantomime. And then that caused another cue to go. So we're like, okay, should we run off or should we stand still? Because I don't know what to do. So we just all stood still. We was like, stay still. And so then we stayed still, and then we rewound the scene, going back. And then we did the same scene right over again, So it's moments like that where you have to be professional. You have to like think fast on your toes, because when things are moving, you got to know and have that quick train of mind, which is why I'm grateful, for live theater, because it is live and things like this happens, like the show, you got to be prepared for anything. So there it was.
Wow. That sounds amazing and terrifying. And there are so many moving pieces that, especially, it's not just like acting where you're like, oh, should I say this line again or should I not? It's like, oh, there's a moving piece that I could get hit, or like, y'all have, what is it, like a treadmill going through it?
There's a treadmill, there's a spinning donut that's happening. And sometimes in the scene, the treadmill and the donut are going at the same time. So it's just about that much space for you to walk through to get through, so you won't step on either one, because if you step to the right, too far to the right, you're getting taken that way. If you step too far to the left, you're getting taken that way. So you have to be like right on it. And, the show is dependent upon your cue lines. So you may have lines that, indicate, okay, let's press this light cue, or let's press this button to go. And so you have to make sure that you're on it and you say it the way that it's been rehearsed and practiced. And that's one of the things. And so that's what helps me with, repetition. It can sometimes get redundant, but that's why they're there, because your lines are important to the next person's job in the show. It takes everybody, not just the person that is saying the lines and singing. It's a whole collective.
That is such a true story. From the lead to the understudies and swings to the board operator and the ticket salesman and the usher, like there's so many different aspects. And when Jelani was on the series, we were talking about understudies and swings, and I don't understand how someone could have like one full set of lines and story to have, and then let alone 2, 3, 4, 5 even. That's absurd.
Me neither. I've never been a swing. I'm not saying that I that's not a thing, but I know that's not my ministry. I don't know, like, that's a lot of information to retain. And so shout outs, to everybody who is swinging and out here covering multiple roles, because that is a skill within itself that I don't think many people have. And so swings they're very important to a show.
Yes. And what's very important to this show is all of your support. So thank you for helping when everything just went crazy. And I feel like I'm Jefferson coming into Act 2 of Hamilton. What did I miss?
Your co-hosts, they were holding it down. They were asking me questions. We were engaged. We were talking. I tried to find some, I introduced my dog to them. They met Harlem. So, we were good here. We held it down for you.
Can I meet Harlem again? I know we met. Big fan. Slimbo, you want to come in?
Come in. You want to say hi? I'll give you a treat later. I know you. I know you. She says quarantine is cold. This is
Yay!
my baby.
Oh,
She got the sleepy face. She was sleepy. I don't think she
oh, you're so cute. I love dogs.
all day.
It's what?
All she does is eat treats and sleep all day. She'll eat and sleep all day.
Yes.
Sometimes I forget she's in the house because she's so quiet and she doesn't bark. And so, that's a gift and a curse sometimes. I'm like, oh, it's quiet. Like, where's the dogs at? Like, where the dog?
Yeah. Hey, put a treat right over on the couch for my dog Slimbo in hopes that he might come and say hi. And I think that might have happened when we were frozen.
So you're trying to figure it out. He was like, I'm gonna come in here, sneak this treat, and leave.
Yeah, exactly. I could not imagine how relaxing it must be to not have a dog that constantly barks.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it if my dog barked all the time. Like I had, some friends' dogs over who usually when they go out of town, like I'll dog sit, like that's what we do for each other.
Yeah.
And their dogs just be loud. I'm like, ooh, Harlem, I'm so glad, girl. That would drive me crazy. Barking at everything. Barking because the door opened. Barking because something is New York and it's loud out. Barking because the wind blew the wrong way. I could not. So I'm just glad. I did a lot of research and there was like they don't bark at all. Now she does what's funny. She barks in her sleep.
Oh.
And so when she's been doing that since she's been little. And so what I would do is when I hear her barking in her sleep, I'll get up and then I'll just pet her ever so gently. I'm like, hey, baby, it's okay. It's okay. And then she'll go back. But
Oh.
she does do that. She will bark in her sleep.
I am a sucker for adorable dogs and just snuggling. And Slimbo, even though he hasn't made an appearance, he's sitting right at the door because it's a beautiful day out and has truly been one of the saving graces of quarantine is getting to have all this time together and having him to go out in the field with and knowing that this is like a nice bonding time because
yeah.
When else would you?
Yeah, you don't have that much time because we're in and out often, and so usually my schedule before the shutdown, I would literally see her in the morning, walk her, go for a walk, feed her, and I'll be gone until I rest my head that day. And I'll usually walk her like 1, 2 in the morning, and so thankfully I trained her for just that, like for that schedule. So anytime that I need to do anything, like she's on it and like she's fine. So she can be okay. And then I got smart lights in my house. So I would turn on the smart lights so she have lights. And I got a furbo. So then she got treats so she can come and do all that. So she's good. She got toys and stuff everywhere. She's spoiled. And again, Felicia Boswell spoils my dog. Like when I'm out of town, she gives my dogs French fries and stuff like that. And I don't like giving my dog table food. But anytime Auntie Felicia comes over, I know she's going to have something she's not supposed to have. Or to get overfed with treats because of her.
I've done the same. So Felicia, I feel you. They're just so cute. And so, okay, anyone who saw the cover photo for today and saw this photo I took of the two of you in Harlem, that was at this really, really cool dog event with Pets of Broadway and this animal shelter. Can you talk about how, there were so many Broadway people, a lot of Ain't Too Proud members have adorable dogs.
Yeah. It was a fun event. I think that was a Pets Bond for a veterinarian office. And it was just, we love animals, and sometimes because, life happens, they replace children at times, At first I was like, well, let me get a dog because I want another child. And I was like, I don't want another child, so I'm gonna get a dog. So like, it's fine. So that's why I actually got my dog. So she was actually like my birth control for children because I wanted another child. I was like, nah, no. Although I think I am. I'm like, it's about that time. I'm like, now I'm just one more. It's fine. It's just another. But that was a fun event that we did. We had everybody there and their dogs, and some people had, even now those who didn't have dogs, I know feel like now adopted, pets since. So, it's just good to support animals and like, come together. Another excuse, any reason that you give us to have all our dogs together and to have a party, a free party with drinks and food, we'll be there. That is one thing about us. We will show up and eat you out and drink out of house or home. So it's fine.
That's a good reason to do anything. And so this actually also is a nice transition into that, the Tony year, your opening season on Broadway. I feel like y'all were going everywhere. The Met Gala, y'all rocked it.
Yeah, that was, 2019 was a year for me. I actually don't remember everything that happened because there was so many things that happened. But what I'm glad I did was invested in a photographer to kind of like, capture all these moments, because I'm so much of a in the moment person that I forget to take the pictures and I forget to do the things because I like to enjoy the moment. And when you like usually experience me, like I try to be here, with you, connection, because I feel like, again, going back to the beginning of the conversation, connection is really important to me. And so I tend to forget about, let me take a picture here, and I got to remind myself. But I'm glad I did, because looking back on it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to experience so much stuff and meet so many people, who have like now honestly become really, really good friends, from the networking opportunities and the experiences that I got to do, from Vogue to we did the New Yorker, we were on The View a couple of times, we were on the Today Show, we were in, on the Wendy Show, we were just all over the place. And then my personal press that I got to do, and I was in Forbes. I was like, I was in GQ. I was like, all these things. I was like, wow, like, those things that I thought I was going to get when I first broke into the business. When I booked my first Broadway show, I was like, oh, here it is. And then I was like, psych. No, you're just an ensemble, man. Not saying that ensemble doesn't get the recognition, because there are some ensembles that are killer and great, but it's just, my view of how the industry worked and ran was different when I entered the business, because I thought all of those things would have happened once I booked my very first Broadway show. And I was like, no, you have to actually work for that and then set up a team, because it doesn't automatically happen. I just thought, I made it to Broadway. Look at me. Give me all the interviews. Give me all the red carpet stuff. Put me in your magazine. I'm like, no. You have to kind of like work and do the work for that. So I'm actually grateful. And this time I was very much more so prepared for the moment.
Oh, good. Yeah, being able to really enjoy the moment and take it all in is one of the hardest things. I might have the opposite problem, where I love taking photos. I mean, it's my job, but I also just genuinely enjoy capturing the moment, or like seeing two friends reuniting and getting that moment and then showing it to them. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you got that moment. Like that to me brings so much joy, but then you sometimes miss the moment presently. And
but I feel like that's your gift. Some people have gifts that they're good, they're good at. And I feel like that is your ministry, when you can connect people and get those type of moments that people would necessarily normally wouldn't get. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they're all working for, in concession with each other. Yeah.
That's a great, thank you for that. That's a great way of saying that.
Absolutely.
Similarly to how I was saying at the beginning of the interview, which feels like a million years ago since this whole thing that happened with the internet, but I have a very distinct memory at the Drama League Awards, where y'all were all, always looking really sharp, the whole squad. And everyone was just looked at, all the photographers, all the reporters, and said, did you get it? Did you get it? Do you need another shot? And that really, it might sound small, especially if people don't know this environment, but those events can be crazy. And there are just so many people, and especially someone who's just starting out, I'm trying to get every moment, and to have people acknowledge that and say like, hey, we can take another second. Do you need to get the photo? Really meant a lot.
Yeah. I think, it's, for me, again, I know, especially for people starting out and like doing these red carpet events, I know how hectic they can be. And our publicists, and sometimes publicists, they'll, be like, we want to get we want to get your face in front of the main publications because we don't have time and we need to go and you need to get here. But then at first, I would do that. I'm like, okay, I will follow what my publicist said. But then I remember just seeing, I was like, we're rushing to go sit down. We can take another moment. to come in here and I can speak to this person because, you know, again, like you said, for somebody starting out because of those big publications that are known and well known, like they're getting their shine and then everybody else is like, all right, thank you. I'm like, the little people need something too. And I'm not saying that you're little or trying to discredit, but like, I feel like that's important because I was in that space, you know, in my career once, and I know how it felt to be overlooked on. So I want to make sure that I talk to everybody, specifically the people that are getting looked over. Those are the ones I want to go to because those are the people that are going to be loyal to you. They're going to keep you in the spotlight. They're going to make sure that they say your name over and over again because you are loyal to them. And I want to build that rapport with those people. And so I think for me, again, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, like I make sure like I talk to everybody because it's very important.
So many good points because like we said, this is something that I remembered that it felt really good. Look, I'm a small publication. I'm still building it. I don't mind saying that. But, you know, one day maybe I am a bigger name and I'm going to make sure that everyone who had my back now is like front and center because y'all were the ones that believed in me when no one else did. And that like, it means so much to us fun-sized people, we could say.
Yeah. Because what happens is you're going to continue to run into these people over and over at different events. You know, you're going to the Drama League, and then you're going to do the Met, and then I'm going to see you at the Apollo, and then I'm going to see you at this movie premiere. So it's like at some point you're going to continue to run into them, and it's going to be a relationship that's going to be built. You know, and I saw like, you know, because of Black History Month, I saw, you know, this thing where they were saying like all like the minority people and press people, they always get looked over. And I was on, you know, just seeing like how often that happens. I was like, I'm going to change that. Anytime I'm seen, I'm going to make sure I go to the little guys. I want to make sure like the big guys are fine. Like I'm going to make sure I get that coverage is automatically going to come, but I got to make sure that I'm giving my people, you know, just what they need so they can have it. And so that's just what it is. So keep going. You're going to get it. And we going to look back at this 10 years later. You're like, remember we had that conversation? Now I'm the biggest thing ever.
Let them hear you. But yeah, it does feel really good and it's memorable. And all the people who are watching right now and seeing this interaction, they're also saying, okay, well, maybe I can do this thing that I didn't know if I could do it, but take that extra chance and reach out to someone because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, like you said, being kind costs you nothing. Nothing. Smiling to somebody, hello, how you doing? Costs you nothing. Don't even take nothing away from your day. It actually motivates you, actually. It's contagious.
Okay, so I have, I don't know if this was maybe said when I was away, but I do want to make sure. My friend T says, SHO, please tell Jawan he's amazing and ain't too proud. Saw it right before lockdown and have been riding high ever since.
Oh, thank you, T. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I can't wait to be back on stage. I really cannot. It's been far too long. I'm excited to get back to work.
I know a lot of people I saw early on too who didn't have a chance to see it or who had tickets to see it, and then the shutdown happened. And, you know, we could talk about that, but I feel like everyone's been talking about that. What I really want to talk about is something earlier on that I was about to bring up before the internet took this chance away. But you said something that our dear friend Nick Walker has also said, which is that you say that you're not a dancer, and then I see you on that stage, and I go, that's a dancer.
I am not nobody's dancer, okay? I always say I can club dance. Now, growing up, I will say, like, my mother, she used to do, like, ballrooms, and so we do this thing back in Detroit where we call the two-step, right? And so, you know, it's basically like a choreographed, like, line dance, if you will. And so I knew every single one of those because my mother taught me growing up, because she would go to the classes as a form of cardio and kind of like, you know, just like social, you know, socialite thing that she would do. And, you know, she would come home when we go to parties or weddings. She would take me by the hand and teach me. And so I knew how to like slow dance with a lady. I knew how to do all those things because my mother taught me. And, but as far as like going and hitting splits, doing like 8/16 counts and this, I could not do any of that. Like I didn't have any formal training. And so everything that I learned on the stage, I had to like work towards when I was teaching. I did eventually start taking classes once I made it to New York, because it's like, as a professional, you want to make sure that you're on top of your stuff. So I was taking classes just to hone those skills, but I call myself a mover. I'm not a dancer.
Fair. I'll allow it. However, the high energy of Ain't Too Proud, I was watching the Tony Awards performance. I actually watched it like 3 times today, just because you watch it once and you're like, ooh, that's so good, I want to watch it again. And I just got up and I started moving. Like, I am no dancer as well, but it makes you want to dance.
Let me tell you something. So in the beginning for the Tony Award, Sergio Trujillo, he's crazy. He's nuts. He's nuts. And that's what I mean, great in the best of ways. But like, he'll see something, and for every like TV performance, he'll kick it up a notch. And so because I'm not a dancer, Derek Baskin also wasn't a dancer. So he and we used to like struggle, like, oh goodness, oh God. Because he'll show us a combination of like, who's doing that on live television? Who? I'm not. So in the beginning for the Tony Awards, so we start off and we do a double turn. And I remember when he said we were going to do it, I'm like, and I kept trying to do it and I couldn't stick it. I could not stick it. And I just remember I was like, I'm about to bust my head in front of millions of people on the Tony Awards, on the biggest stage of theater history and night. And I'm about to look crazy. And so I just remember working it. And I finally, probably like the week of, a couple of days before, finally like got it down packed. I was like, that's what was driving me crazy. That, and then the transition from Ain't Too Proud into Just My Imagination, where we had to, the song ended, and then immediately the donut on Radio City, wherever the Tonys were, it starts moving. And that donut is much bigger than the one we were accustomed to, and it's jarring. So you kind of had to like plant yourself, so once it started moving, that you were, you were strong, because if not, it was going to take you out. And so that was also like playing with us too, but we got it. But it was stressful.
I could only imagine. Whenever I see live performances, I think, wow, like this is such a big moment, or like opening night, there's all these extra nerves. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's live. Whatever happens, sometimes you have a funny moment or whatever, and you can look back at that. Yeah. When it's filmed and it's the biggest stage, as you're saying, for theater, it's the Tony Awards, all of a sudden you're like, okay, I do this every day. Maybe there's a little bit of difference for here, and because it's like a medley, but I can do it. Yeah. Even when I watched Ephraim throw the mic up, I know he does that every day, 8 shows a week, but that just seems terrifying.
Yeah, and it's so funny because Ephraim he'll go, because Sergio was like, okay, you're going to throw the mic up, do this, turn around, do the splits. And Ephraim be like, this is concrete. I'm not about to be doing too many of these. It's like, Ephraim, you got it. Ephraim, you got it. And every time Ephraim, like clockwork, throw it up, spin it out, he had rubber knees, because I'm like, I don't know how you did that. And then, we would always complain. And Sergio like, y'all got it. And kind of be like, I hear what y'all saying, I'm not listening. And every time we hit the step in every performance that you can go back and watch, like, we are seamless, and it's so great because, again, even though you say it's a variation, what we did was we made sure that we watched each other. We always said, we got each other, we got your back. We always did a group huddle before. It's a teamwork and it's a group. And if you mess up, we all look bad. So let us hold you and do what you need, so we don't look bad. Because they're not going to say Jawan messed up. They're going to say they look crazy. Is what they're going to say. They're going to say the group looked crazy. And neither one of us wanted to be responsible for the internet going and in the blogs and in the comment section saying, ooh, what are these guys doing? We always want to say, these guys look sharp every time. So There's no pressure but pressure.
No pressure, but you got this, and you got this.
Don't mess up.
Don't mess up. So, okay, we were talking about the Tonys, but I'm also now thinking it was really cool when I got to cover y'all filming the rehearsals for the Thanksgiving Day parade back, well, I guess 2 years ago now. What is time? Jeremy. So you're going from doing the show 8 times a week, you're exhausted, you're rehearsing Thanksgiving Day parade, then you're going back doing the show, then you're doing the thing. But then compared to this year where you haven't done the show in ages, and then you're doing the Thanksgiving Day parade and the one night only, what are those experiences like?
It's just, it's one of those things. Once, because the 5 of us, the main 5 have been consistently kind of working through the pandemic because of, gigs here that we've been doing. And so I kind of was familiar with still the choreography, even though we haven't done it so long, it was still kind of my body because we had to do this event for this. And then we also have rehearsals. So for me, going back into that, it was a little bit easier because we have been doing and working on it. But I remember that after not doing it for 5 months and then coming back and they're like, okay, we got this thing for American Express and you're doing 3 numbers, we're shooting videos. I just remember being in that rehearsal, in that filming, and I'm like, I felt like I was 80 years old. I was out of breath. I was just like, my body hurt. I'm like, oh, this is what the show feel like. It's coming back to my neck. So I was like, let me be smart. So I started to just, continue to work out, continue to do the things I need to do on my own time, spare time, in order to stay sharp. And so it's all about accountability at this point.
Smart. Yeah. Holding yourself accountable can feel really good, especially when the moment does come back and you're like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
So I know we're running down on time, but I just want to make sure to get to White Christmas and this amazing single you put out.
Yeah, that's my first single ever that I got to do with my amazing friend, Isaiah Templeton, who is featured on there. He's a gospel artist who is just beyond his years and the Daryl Coley of our time, I feel like. And it was produced and arranged by my good friend, Aaron Marcellus. And I just wanted to do something to give during this pandemic and to actually put myself out there because I don't have anything with my voice just showcasing something other than my work or job, something I had to do for a job. And so it was something that was mine and I wanted to get out my nerves and give my art. And so it was received really, really well. And so I'm so excited about it. And, hopefully, like I was saying earlier while you were gone, I want to release an EP in line back with when Broadway opens back up. So I'm excited to give new music and to continue to give my art, because I do realize that I need to, and people are asking for it. So I can't be stingy with it.
Well, we appreciate that. I can't wait for that to come out and I will be listening all the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also, how did you get involved with the Wiggles?
The Wiggles is so funny. So the Wiggles been coming to our show since Toronto when we were on our 3-city tour, our mini tour. And that was the first time they came. And then when they came to Broadway, the lead Wiggle, Anthony, he came up to Taylor, Simone Jackson, and myself and said, I love you guys. And I want to work with you. And I said, I want to be a Wiggle. I grew up with the Wiggles. Yes, let's figure it out. And then the pandemic happened. So then it was kind of like this, delay. But James Harkness had already done something with the Wiggles prior, probably the year before. He did a TV show, his own TV show with them. And so he was like, I want to give you and Taylor your own TV show, your own, spot with us. And then we had this opportunity where the 30th year anniversary has come up. And he was like, we're re-releasing Fruit Salad, our famous song, and I want you to be a part of it. And at first it started off with like, oh, you're just going to be singing a bit of pieces of the song. And then I went and recorded it and then we shot the video and I'm like, oh, I'm singing lead on this video on a Wiggle song. Like, that's crazy. So it's exciting. It's on YouTube now. The video is out. The song is out. The actual physical song has everybody on it, but in the video, it's me singing lead and they're breaking up the parts with the other Wiggles. But it's so much fun. And I can't wait to, there's so much more to come from the Wiggles, I can't say quite yet, but I will say just stay tuned and get ready because it's about to be so much fun for y'all when it comes out.
Can you see how I'm cheesing right now? I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, just to be a part of the Wiggles. I'm like, that's legendary. Yes.
It's so good. It's so much fun. Who doesn't love the Wiggles? When I was babysitting my little cousin Eric, we used to watch that all the time. And fruit salad, yummy, yummy, gets stuck in your head. And then people are like, are you watching the Wiggles? And I'm like, I'm babysitting. But you know what? I'm proud of that.
I'm proud of it. Listen, the Wiggles are a household staple. So I'm grateful for it.
Mm-hmm. So true. So towards the end of every interview, I always ask, are there any nonprofits or charities that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, absolutely. My charity of choice has been Rosie's Theater Kids. I love them. I adore them. And any chance I have to, shout them out, I do. And so again, Rosie's Theater Kids, if you don't know who they are, go check them out. They're a great organization who helps, just children into the arts and start from ninth grade, eighth grade, all the way to when they graduate. And, it's just an organization that's been given and given and given and given for so many years. And I'm so happy to be a part of it. And you can donate right to their website if you go to rtkids.org and, just give as much as you can. During the pandemic, please still give. I know it's a pandemic, but whatever you can, just give it.
Beautifully said. Yes. Helping one another out, especially right now, is so important.
Absolutely.
And if people want to see more of your work, where can they find you on social media and beyond?
Yeah. So just like I said earlier, all my socials, I have a Facebook fan page, I have an Instagram and Twitter. I was telling them about my Twitter how I got hacked, but I have another one now. So it's Jawan M Jackson is the official Twitter account. And to go to, and then Jawan Jackson on Instagram. And I even got a TikTok. I'm trying to become more TikTok savvy. TikTok is for the Gen Zers. I'm trying to learn. I'm having a hard time. So if y'all know anybody who can give TikTok tutorials for old men, let me know.
I feel ya. Everyone's been like,
trying to teach me. He'll be 17, and I'm like, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this. Show me, please.
How do you sync it up and then you put it in the word?
How do you edit it, and then how does transition happen? So I'm learning. I'm getting a little bit better, but don't judge me when you go on the TikTok and see my material is a little off. Okay.
I'm sure it's wonderful, and I will definitely be checking it out.
Yeah, thank you.
And y'all can find me at B-Way Show. That's BWAYSHO, as you see here from this wonderful banner. I also now have B-Way Show, the podcast on Twitter, which is just B-Way Show Podcast for all of your B-Way Show, the podcast needs.
Yeah.
And today is a double Ain't Too Proud day because Jelani Remy's episode was released this morning, and you can check it out.
I love Jelani.
Me too. What a good soul. Yes. So is there anything else that you came in today wanting to make sure to say to all of your fans out there?
Nothing but just continue to stay positive and uplifted during this, pandemic as we're making our transition in America with new powers that be. And hopefully, from what I'm seeing, it's starting to go on the up and up. And so just take care of one another, love on one another, and, just be kind to somebody. Always. That's it. That's all I got.
That's beautiful. And Black Lives Matter.
Always. End of story.
That's it. Good to say during every episode, just to make sure whoever is watching, it's good to, to say it because it shouldn't be controversial. It's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on that note, and with Limbo just excited to go to the field again, he's like, it's been so long, like an hour. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you for holding it down when the technology failed us. I mean, come on. This is like so much love, so much love. I appreciate you. Y'all be safe, wear a mask, take care of yourselves, and take care of others. We'll see you at the show.
See y'all.